Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your Goddess Guru, and I love helping women align with their life purpose using ancient wisdom so that they confidently and courageously live the amazing lives they know they deserve. And one of the things that I am passionate about is what I call the three-part framework, Goddess framework, and it is awareness, it is alignment, and the last one is action. And what I created this framework for is to help women understand how do they begin to navigate their way back into their power, navigate their way into a place where they feel like they are living life by design, living life on their own terms. And one of the things that's so important as I see it is understanding who and what we are. That is the awareness piece, as well as aligning with it, which is the spiritual practice piece for me, doing the spiritual work. And so I wanted to get on today and talk about one aspect of tapping into our spiritual power that I feel is underestimated and not valued in the society. However, we get to decide what are our personal values. And so um, this energy that I want to talk about is the energy of the Divine Mother. And this is an archetype that I align with profoundly. First and foremost, I am one who had an amazing relationship with my mother when she was here in the physical. I had an amazing relationship with my mother. I valued our relationship deeply, and her influence and impact in my life made me want to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom because I just love my mom so much, and I wanted to give what she had given me to somebody else. So that's another way I've aligned with it is I became a mom myself and dove deep into, the motherly experience, raising children, and just really have been all in. And now as I am transitioning into being mom to adults, I am now stepping more deeply into embracing this energy of the mother and stepping into my own power. And the way this looks is I am realizing the power of self-care and nurturance and what it really does to help unlock the divine feminine power. We've been so trained, as much as it's ingrained in women, to be caretakers, and this whole the way the society is set it up, where it's so much pressure, to be motherly and to be a mom, and for time memorial, what was a woman's worth? She was married and she was a mom, and birthing children or whatever. um that's to a certain degree a way we have been disempowered with this archetype, so that we have to begin to embrace it and realize that we have to transform this archetype into what we need, and making it, giving it meaning for our own lives. And so one of the ways, because the way I describe myself is I'm spiritually multilingual. And there I go, opening the blinds, trying to have good light. And it is overpowering me. Here we have the masculine sun coming through, overpowering a sister. I say that funny, laughing. But I must close the blinds because I cannot take it. And this is the last time. My mother used to call me a hardhead. She would say, "You're so hard-headed. You just refuse to learn on the first lesson." And this is the second video I've made where I had to get up in the middle of the video and close the blinds. So, anywho, so yeah, um, The archetype. Oh, I consider myself to be multilingual when it comes to spirituality. So I study a lot and I make connections a lot across cultures. However, the name and the energy that I call this the most would be Yemoja Aset, known by many names and cultures, but that's how I simplify it. And it's just how I identify with it. And actually, how I found this energy was through my studies of the Ifa Orisha tradition out of Nigeria and the Metu Neter, which is based on the ancient Egyptian Kemetic tradition, but is written by somebody from the USA. So, anywho, I'll just show you this energy from the Metuneta Oracle. This is the energy of Aset. A lot of people may know her by as Isis. And yeah, so one of the things that I love about this energy is taking a lot of how we've understood, something's on my lips, sorry, how we've understood this energy and begin to use it to transform our lives instead of keeping ourselves burdened and, quite frankly, for some of us, oppressed with this caretaking energy. And instead, shifting it and understanding the importance of taking care of ourselves, self care to unlock and unleash our feminine power, to show us that the feminine way of showing up in the world, this softer way of dealing with ourselves, actually is how we will be able to, when we need to show up in the masculine, we'll be able to do that. But also, we can begin to show up and manifest and express to the divine feminine. Oh my gosh, that's why so many of us are so tired. It's like, we just got to keep showing up to survive with all this masculine energy. I'm not bashing men. I have a husband and son, so I'm not bashing men, but I am saying it's too much masculine energy, even for them. They need a little bit more permission to, access this energy and show up with it. Okay. So, what I wanted to talk about is share a story that touched me so much. When we talk about these traditions, especially some of the ones out of Africa, we use the word initiation. And that used to be a big thing back in the day, it seems like. You would initiate, go through some process, and it would help to remove all of the programming that we get when we come here, um, so that we could step fully into our destiny and our power. And so I have initiated into a tradition called the Ifa Orisha tradition. And the Orisha, that her mystery and her wisdom school, her medicine that I initiated into is called Yemoja. It's one of the reasons I talk about her so much. Um, and so, in my learning more about her, I remember finding a story about her. And I want to share it with you and think of it as a way for you to understand yourself and perhaps how to show up for you. And so the way it goes is the Orisha, which are the deities, we could say, in this religion out of Africa, um, were looking at humans, and they were looking at how horrible, the humans were, the state of humanity. They were just like, man, these humans, they are wretched, they're evil, they're corrupted. Like, it's just not going well down there. And some of the Orisha was standing around like, we just need to get rid of them. We just need to just go ahead and erase this group and maybe we can start again. And one of the Orisha who were there during this discussion was Yemaja, the mother. And she said to them, hey, you haven't always been perfect. And she went one by one, hey, Do you remember when you weren't perfect? Did anyone come in and crush you out and toss you out and throw you out? No. What about you? When you messed up, did anybody say, "Hey, let's just get rid of you, toss you out, cross you out"? No. She went through one by one. Each Orisha was like, "You know what? You got a good point." No. And she said, "Well, we have to show the same love to the humans. We have to, show up and care about them and love them and help to bring out the best in them." And so it was Yemanja who essentially kept all of humanity from dying because she cares so much and she can see the good. And she realizes that when people are showing up looking like they're hurtful and harmful, that they have simply forgotten. This is one of her faculties, the energy of, or the faculty of the memory. They have forgotten the truth of who and what they are. And it is our, job as the Orisha to help them come back into the truth of who and what they are. And this is how I see self care. It's an opportunity for us to remember that we are worthy, that we are valuable, that there's never a time that we are to give up on ourselves. And that when we begin to take these acts of self care, then a natural unfolding, because how is a mother with her baby? How's a mother with her baby? She's soft and she's gentle, right? And it doesn't matter if you've had a child or not. This is not about every woman having a child, because let me tell you, I respect the aunties out there, the ones that didn't have children. I wouldn't have made it without the aunties. Oh my gosh. I love my friends who don't have children. They are the best, right? And they know what it's like too, to hold those babies. And your heart just burst open with love, right? And that's what we need to do. That's what self-care is doing for us. It's holding the baby, which is you, loving you. And it begins to open that self-love. And the other thing that it begins to do, or two things, self-care helps us to heal. So many of us have wounding and we may not even remember that it's there. And so self-care will allow us to soften down enough, to get quiet enough to address what the world is going on with, this ache, this pain that I have. Because a lot of times this is how we can begin to get clues like, okay, I'm not all healed up. Something's off. Yeah. Look at what maybe doesn't feel right in your body or in your mind. It may be emotional. And softening down allows us to even notice it. We stop medicating it. Instead, we start nurturing ourselves so that we can figure out, what is it that I need to do? Do I need to go to see a therapist? Do I need to use some healing modalities? One of the things that I love talking about, it's becoming more and more mainstream, I think, is tapping. Maybe working on the meridians. That's another one. That's really what tapping is. It's just working on the meridians to get the meridians flowing and unblocked. And so, yeah, that's something that is so important. One of the things I've been telling the sisters in my inner circle is some of us sitting around here feeling like failures, when in all actuality, it's just that we have a stuck emotion. And that stuck emotion is operating as a program within us that keeps us essentially stuck, because it perceives that's a way for us to stay safe, or it creates a certain belief system that only allows us to, go so far. Maybe if we unblocked, got these emotions unstuck and out, soaring, and it's like, oh, this is so easy now. For some of us, it may just be that, okay? And that leads me to another thing that self-care does. And that is, It helps us to access our power. Some of us are showing up, most of us are showing up, realizing we have to show up in a masculine way. This is why, I talk to so many friends who are in business and they can't stand so many of the ways that we are taught how to show up in business. It's because they're so masculine. And we're like, oh my gosh, I want to make the connection, relationships. And so, but there's a lot of us that are like, man, I need to get in this business space and make this money. And if this is how you do it, man, I'm for it, sisters. I'm like, do you, right? But it may feel like pressure to do it. Like this is the way to do it. So this is how I've got to show up. Or maybe it's not the business space, it's work. You're a leader or you're doing some type of work that requires you to show up with this masculine strength. Not that you're showing up manly, but it's like a certain energy that you have to carry in order to survive, right? And so um, when we begin to do this self-care and nurturance, what does it do for us? It allows us to, first and foremost, come to have so much balance that when we show up in that masculine energy, we can carry it. We can carry it and it's not burning us out. Or it shows us how to manifest from our feminine energy, which is perhaps more relaxed and allows things to come to us in a different way. It doesn't mean no action, because remember the 3-part framework is awareness, alignment, and action. So make no mistake about it, mamas are active. I used to love it when people would say, when I would sort of feel like, well, I feel like I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and it doesn't seem like it's, people don't really think it's all that much work. And people would say, anyone who says that doesn't know what it means to be a stay-at-home mom. Every mom knows. Oh my gosh. Children take so much work. It takes so much energy and activity working with our children, effort even. And so, yeah, mamas are active, but it's active in a different way. The way the divine feminine, um, shows up through action. A lot of times it's being creative. And so you think about the artist. I like thinking about the ones who are creating the visual arts, with the paint, and you see them and but you can just feel the flow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's like so much creativity, so much energy of manifestation flowing. So yeah, that's another thing. Yes, we heal, but then we also manifest. We also show up and create in the world that which we want, however that looks for you. So I just wanted to share that. Show up for yourself as Yemo Josh showed up for the humans. Don't give up on yourself, sister goddesses. Don't give up on yourself. Love on yourself. And knowing that self-care, though it could sometimes look like, oh my gosh, it's just so self-indulgent. Like that's actually, as we've heard so many times now, it's actually an act of revolution. We have been so conditioned to be caretakers of other people, which then burdens us down to the point where we just don't have access to our power center. And so, yeah, taking that time, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but making that shift that this actually is putting us on the path to manifesting more of what we want, aligning with our destiny. And yeah, who cares? Just for the sake of it. I don't even need a reason to do self-care at this point. I just do it, right? So yeah, blessings of the mother be upon you. May you continue to walk in your divine feminine power, because the world needs you to do so. We so badly need the women to show up doing this work. Love you all so much. if you are interested in joining my inner circle where I share more like this on a weekly basis, I would love to have you join. Um, my thing in the inner circle is to bring the soft feminine touch. I do consider myself to be someone who is a coach. Well, I don't consider myself to be. I am a coach, but I'm bringing the softer touch. I'm not trying to bully folks or nothing. So I consider my inner circle to be a soft place to land. You can come and, yeah, get loved on and be feminine. Be feminine. Just be so feminine, however that looks for you. As well as if you would like a reading, I would love to take the time to help you to look at what is the energy surrounding you at this time, and maybe it's perhaps to answer some questions about how you can step more powerfully into your feminine energy. What cycle are you in? That is something that is so important to the goddess centered lifestyle, is understanding what cycle am I in, and aligning with that cycle, so that you feel like you're moving with the river, instead of being tossed to and fro by a storm. Thank you all again so much. Wishing you a wonderful, beautiful, glorious day. Take care. Peace and love. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, you can go to goddessbodymindspirit.com to learn more about the services that I offer. Peace.